Hi, I'm Marko. This is Vuk. We are here today to talk to you a little bit about startups and investments. But this time we want to talk to you from our personal experience. So we will share the story with you on how we went through the investment period. But to start off, I would like to first... Okay.
Is the clicker working?
Yeah, clicker is off.
All right.
I'm in software development industry for the last 15 years. I started off as a developer, but relatively quickly moved to some leadership positions. And before Drytools, I was a CTO of a custom software development company, where I, at the end, led a team of 60 people doing multiple projects for multiple customers all over the world. And Vuk?
Yeah, I'm basically, the last 10 years I've been in finance, private equity, venture capital, and stuff like that. So not to bore you too much, I don't know if anybody's from finance. No? That's, in a nutshell, it's not that interesting for you guys, so I'll...
Yeah, but okay, Vuk is a principal in the
Right.
South Central Ventures
Yeah, the
fund.
fund that actually
Maybe
invested.
you can explain what that means.
Yeah, gladly. I mean, for those of you, does anybody know what a venture capital fund is? Ah, sweet, great. Well, we basically set up, we were set up last year in October. We have currently 40 million as an investment fund, and we're seeking to invest into companies like Drytools. So I think through this tit for tat that we're going to have, basically draw your own conclusions about what it takes to have an investment, basically, I would say.
Yeah, okay, and then to get to know you guys a little bit better, I have a couple of questions. First one is, how many of you are thinking about starting your own business? Okay, good. How many of you already did that? Oh, wow.
Well
And how many of you raise money until now? So friends and family, angels. Okay, so right
three.
Audience.
Excellent. Did we
So
invest?
what we want to do is, we will focus on the investment, of course, but I really want to first, walk you through a little bit of, what happened before, just to get you an intro. So for us, it was really an agile approach. So we went through a number of iterations. At the end of each iteration, we draw some conclusions and then went into the next one. So, obviously the first one is defining a solution to a problem. So the problem that we saw is that software development is slow, and in general it's a very slow process and hard. And especially when in the domain of building cloud applications, what we call them nowadays, it's very time-consuming. And we created a goal for ourselves that we want to make it 4 times faster than it is right now. And to achieve that, we had to do, the one thing that was obvious to achieve is to automate coding as much as possible. So that's what our solution is, by using model-driven software development techniques to create a tooling that is allowing us to achieve those kinds of speeds. Well, then the next iteration was creating a right team. And that was a very difficult iteration for me. I failed a number of times in putting together a team that is capable of doing this. But at the end, I managed to onboard 2 senior developers that at the same time had a real-life experience building cloud solutions, and also willingness to get into the model-driven software development. So that was a key.
That was a crucial thing for us.
Yeah, crucial thing for the investment as well.
Oh.
Well, the next iteration was create a proof of concept. So we needed to prove to ourselves that something like this is possible. And then when we did that, well, of course, then we tested with customers. So we identified a couple of projects, we trained the teams to use our proof of concept, and so we were monitoring or working together with them, seeing what's happening. And fortunately for us, we got a very good feedback, and that allows us to move to the next iteration, and that's share our solution to get the feedback. So basically, for us, it was very important to start sharing. In the startup world, the right word is pitching our idea and solution, in our case, to development community, because that's our target group, and to investors as well. And then when we got the positive feedback out of both groups about this, then we started thinking, well, this could be really something, and then it drove us to the next iteration, which was quite a difficult one because of the decision that you have to make, and that this could be a business. And in order to that it resonates. It resonates. So the investors are looking at your, they're listening to your pitch, and then they want to talk to you. So that's always a good thing. When after the pitching session, the investors are coming to you and continuing conversation. So
or you go to them, basically. It depends.
Well, yeah, like I'm very famous for chasing people.
Very individual. I'm just saying.
So we had to do a couple of difficult decisions there. So the first one is, if you want to make a business out of something, you really need to be focused on that. And for three of us, that meant that the first thing that we need to quit our jobs. Current ones, another thing was that we need to build a product out of the proof of concept. So that required, knowledge, but a lot of time and also money. So that was really, we knew that we needed to find an investment. And also, we did our proof of concept inside the company that we were working in. So we needed to make a new company with the right infrastructure that fits all the requirements for the outside investors, for them to be able to invest in a company. So, but we managed to do all of that end of June last year. And then the next iteration was finding an investment. So, as I said, we were pitching our startup on different startup events, and one of those events was a big demo day of the third generation of Startup Academy, which we were a part of. And in that demo day, we were pitching Drytools, and Jan, one of the managing partners of South Central Ventures, was pitching his new fund.
Yeah, we were basically kicking it off at the same time.
Exactly. And that's when we started talking, actually. And then, now who can tell us a little bit more about investment and how he saw that from the investor side,
From the investor side. I mean, those of you who said that you had investments in this, I think you would agree with me that it's not so much about the pitch, but it's about the team. When we got back on our team meeting, Jan spoke to us and said, I think that we have a really good team here, because essentially this is what it was. It was a very good team. You guys were working together for how many? 8 years. Yeah. So it was, you have to be skeptical as an investor for everything that you hear or you see. You need to double check it. So naturally what we did was we went to Novi Sad several times. We met with Marko, Duško, Nikola. We spoke to them about their issues, how they achieved that. You have to understand, for an investor to catch up basically to where you are at that point when you're pitching, you need to have a human relationship with him, because essentially he's playing catch up. You're pitching and you have 3 minutes of fame and that's it. But as Marko said, after that there are discussions, there are one-to-ones, there's coffees, there are dinners, there's presenting your business plan. We went through the whole idea of trying to understand what the product was, where it is at this stage, how we could possibly complement that with what we have. Okay, we have the money, but it's more about relating to this product and relating to the team, this individual. It's not like I used to work in stocks and on the stock market you're just buying stocks, A, B, C, D, whatever. But this is actual people. So you're actually talking to the person that has made something and is trying to explain to you over the course of several iterations. Again, we used iterations too. Over the course of these iterations, The idea is to get a transparent view of the team, to understand what their motivations are, whether you fit, whether it's an investor team fit. Mind you, we have up to like 3 million to invest per company. The 300K that we invested in Drytools is hopefully going to be the first stepping stone. So as the team grows, we started off with you three guys, right? Yeah. And we had a couple of angel investors, and that was the team, you know. And they were clicking and they were doing great. But now, after the investment, you know, you were 8, 9 people. Yep. So the investor team fit was important to figure out who the person behind the pitch is, who the team behind the pitch is, what the product is, how does the investor complement that, and then you move to your ups and downs where we had them. Seriously, I mean, it was a process of several months that we were trying to, you know, get to know each other. Also, you know, you guys were asking us questions. How can you help us? Where are you good at? You know.
Yeah, for us it was very important to have an investor that, you know, really complements us. So and that, you know, that there is a good fit between the people, because actually your investor is a new partner. So that's a little bit of a, you know, strange situation, because you're looking for a team that works together well, and then usually it takes a lot of time to figure out that there is a team that works together well. And as you heard from Vuk, for them it was very appealing that we had a team of people that works together well for 8 years. But then at the same time you need to you get into the relationship with a new partner in your company that you know just for a bit.
Yeah.
So you have like really intensive, you know, talks and discussions how to get to know those people well enough in order to say yes for them to become a partner, because it's very important to have a positive people on your side on the company board, because you want to move forward. You don't want to have all those, how you say that, you know, clippers in your wheels, or
the what? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A bump in the road.
Exactly, without bumps in the road.
A pain in your back.
Exactly, and that happens from time to time, but it's important that it doesn't happen every day.
Yeah, but through this period of interaction where before we actually made the investment, we went through talks and discussions where we had our ups and downs. You know, we had several iterations about what the goal is. Where do you see yourself in 6 months? Where do you see yourself in the next year? How do you plan to scale? And it was very important to have, as an investor, to see a team that is clicking, that has experience, and has the belief, or has the energy, the positive energy, basically, to move forward. Even when there were like downs where we had debates about, you know, whether this is the right way to go, ultimately we came to the conclusion that it was a good investor team fit. And then we started defining the goals. And through defining the goals, we basically established the first investment. Drytools is actually our first investment that we did in Serbia and as a fund. So, you know, we're very proud about that. Once we defined the goals, essentially, it was more about executing, right? So this is now the place that we're in right now.
Exactly, and also actual execution of the investment, it also takes time, and then people that are, you know, working in a startup or really the leadership of the startup, they need to take that into account. So it's not like, you know, somebody likes your idea or your product, and then that somebody writes you a check, and then, you know, tomorrow you have money. And
we could have written the check, but it would have been much lower. You know, it wouldn't have been 300. Yeah. It would have been something lower.
Yeah. So it's very important for the startup to really clearly communicate what the needs are, and, you know, what they want to achieve with the money that they get, but also with the investors' team. For us, it was very important, for example, that South Central Ventures as investors, their team is very good in everything that we are not very good in.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
Because we technically we are, you know, quite an okay team, I would say. but they are very strong in financials, setting up the company, organization, also have a good sales team, a lot of intros so we were, during that process, everybody was showing the value. So you have that strange feeling is that, in the beginning you're selling your idea and your company to somebody, and then once there is a click, then you have to stop, because then investors start to sell you their thing. So, because for me, I did quite a number of years, I did sales for, technical sales. And, you're selling something to somebody, and then until that somebody says yes. But with investors, it's a little bit different, you sell yourself, and then investor is starting to sell. And that's an interesting process, because then in one moment in that conversation, you're becoming the customer. And just a minute before you were a sales guy. So.
Yeah, and you realize that it's a partnership rather than being a one-off sell and bam, you're gone. Yeah. I mean, it's a long-term partnership, basically, that we actually gave you at the start like some heads up. Yeah, go for it.
You're talking about partnership. Actually, the main question here is probably about equity.
Right? Is it? Okay, go for it.
Board member.
Yes.
And how that is working. And you said it will be the lower sum. If you do.
Oh no, I was joking about that. That was a joke. Sorry. All right.
So the question was about the equity and how that goes. So, well, from my experience, there are different funds and they have different setups. What we liked about South Central Ventures setup is that everything is open book. If I'm allowed to say it? Yeah. So they are not the kind of fund where they say, okay, we give you this amount of money for this amount of equity. But you start to negotiate. And for me, because it was my responsibility to really, in our team, it was my responsibility to make this happen for us. So that was something that was really appealing for me, because we could actively talk and get to the deal. So that
to add on to that, I mean, it was at this point where we were defining the goals is the time when we started talking about equity, numbers, how much this, how much that. With Drytools, it was because they were basically just starting to get customers. It's always difficult to gauge how much is the value. In essence, we always, as SCV, I don't know about other venture capital funds, but as SCV, we always tend to take minority stakes. So for example, seed investments that have no traction or have some very small traction, you're just starting up, you're a great bunch of guys, you want to meet Mark or myself, you want to talk about this, sure, afterwards, glad to. But just to give you a hint, we do seed investment rounds up to 100K, where we take, less than 15%. We try to scale it, because that ultimately gives you motivation. Yeah, I hate generalizations, to be honest. Drytools is maybe the exception where we never had this discussion about, there was this investment in San Francisco, they did the exact same thing, they were valued at 500 million, I want 10 million. That kills the deal. With Drytools, I think it was a good idea where we had where we defined the goals, and we basically said, we made a dynamic plan. We said, look, we like you guys, we like the concept. Previous to that, we put him in touch with some of our investments from the previous fund, like Celtra, which is like a very well-functioning company in the States. We're not technical guys, but we have technical guys that can ask them questions. So when they gave us positive feedback saying, look, these guys are onto something, and you should try and support them at the beginning. We started discussing. I mean, you're always negotiating. all the time, whenever, whether you're trying to sell or you're not selling, you're always negotiating about something. What seemed to everybody else, to the outside world, like a very seamless, straightforward process, it wasn't. It had its ups and downs. I mean, we were, more often than not, at late hours in the evening, trying to figure out whether this model will work, whether the revenues are correct, what if. So we tried to base our investment on the team, primarily, and the product. But the team is the crucial thing. So going back to, I think, some of the other speakers that were saying, they put their accent on the team. So, regardless to say, this is what you look at when you're talking to startups, when you're talking about young companies. When you throw, a hazard on the way, are they going to scatter? Are they going to say, no, this is too difficult? I would always bet on the team that doesn't scatter, that stays together. And this was the great, the positive energy that we had from them. Needless to say, once we started talking negotiations, we pretty much already knew about each other well enough so that we kind of had our aligned goals. Our goals were aligned. The idea was basically to give Drytools to our partners, a fair and dynamic goal, saying, look, if you reach this, we do this. If you do this, we do that. On the other side, as a partner, what do you need from us? This, and that. Okay, let's make it work. I mean, yeah, jump in, but I think we need to finish this short presentation and then we can jump into Q&A.
Yeah, okay,
sorry.
Good. Yeah, so we have just one more slide. And that's about, what happens after the investment. So the iterations that you do after the investment. So it's, scale your team. You really need to show that, you can attract other people that are sharing the same vision as you do. Find new customers, talk to customers, build better product, and then like that 1,000,000 times. So
yeah, but scaling your team, you guys are doing that on the fly, and you're doing it well because, again, the energy, it brings people together, and it's not about just voodoo magic. It's actual energy and motivation that you show towards the product that attracts people. That's my 2 cents. I'm not going to jump into your mojo. Don't worry.
Hey, okay, so we should, questions, huh?
Yeah, if there are any questions, feel free.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was also wondering, because you mentioned that you should share your idea and discuss with your speakers. Did you take some steps, for example, done to property or something like that, because someone can steal your idea?
Nobody can steal your idea. That means that there's a better team out there that can do it faster than you. And then that team should do that, So, we just, talked about it wherever we could, more and more, just to, get feedback out from the people and to see what they're thinking and to get the difficult questions. And, we are, updating our website from day to day. One of the new pages that we will create pretty soon is that all the difficult questions that we were asked during that process. Because it's a very interesting learning experience. So it's about idea is a kind of an important start. So that's a kind of a first iteration. You need to find a problem. So it's similar what's the name, the New Frontier. Yeah, he was also talking about that. But then the most important thing is execution. That's where you are. If you, the next iteration is finding the team that can do it and that can do it fast enough. For example, we had one difficult time for us was that we were in Dublin at Web Summit, and we saw teams there, and we saw what they are able to do in a couple of months. So that's a reality check. You have to do those startup events are, if you go to each and every one, they're for sure waste of time, but visiting some of them from time to time just to see what other people are able to do in a short amount of time, that's a very good thing to do.
Yeah, be open when you talk to people. This goes especially for investors. It's going to kill your dynamic when talking to either investors or whatever. You say, yeah, I have a product, but it's very secret and I can't say it. You have to sign an. I don't sign NDAs, honestly. I mean, the fund, venture capital funds, work based on investing in people that have executed their ideas up to a point. But if you can't share your idea with me, then how do you expect to share a partnership?
For investors, of course. I was more thinking that maybe there are some excellent teams just waiting for the right idea to take over.
Wow.
But
Anything
then they
goes.
should do it, you know.
Yeah, anything goes. But I think, for example, you were very open about your process and your product when we were talking with Seltra, I think, when we were in the technical due diligence part. And this was like a great boost for us, is saying, wow, you know, these guys are very straightforward, transparent in their approach. They have no hidden agenda, no skeletons in the closet. Technical DD confirmed that. You know, another tick on the box. You know, great team, works together well, can onboard, has a history of scaling. Tick, 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 tick. You go down the line.
I just wanted to ask about investing in Serbian companies versus Delaware, and you also do convertible notes ever in this region, or just equity?
Thank you. Just to clarify, does anybody not know what a convertible note is? Okay, I'll just to add on to that. Convertible note is basically a loan which the investor can say, if for certain X, Y, and Z circumstances, something happens, I can convert that note into equity, however we define it beforehand. So it's essentially loan/equity, that's essentially a mezzanine structure. It's neither here nor there, it's neither equity or loan, but it's a mixture. We do that. We have that on the table. In terms of investing in Serbia, we have 3 offices currently, Zagreb, Belgrade, Skopje. We cover the region, if you will. What we are looking for in terms of questions about Delaware companies, or any companies you know, for that matter, wherever they're registered, it doesn't really matter. I mean, we're talking about IT companies. It doesn't really matter where you're based or where you will be based. As long as that registration or place of residence is not just for tax purposes. So if you're asking me about whether we invest in companies that are in Delaware currently or want to be in Delaware, yeah, as long as they, you know, have their roots here, they have started something, they're employing people, they're talking to people here, they met us here, you know. The whole point of the venture capital fund is to be as transparent as possible and as quick as possible in making the right decisions. So for Drytools, it was right team, right place, right timing. If they were registered in Dublin, I mean, you guys had you had a trip to Dublin. While we were talking, you had a trip to the States.
To Silicon Valley, yeah.
Right. I mean, you know, we were very sorry and sobbing to see you go, but then you came back and we were like, yeah. But that's a different story. Did I answer the question pretty much? Yeah. All right. Any other questions? I can't see anything.
Yeah. How much time it took from the beginning of the conversation and to closing the deal? I don't know if Ron said it, but how much time it took to close the deal? Your approach to the
Yeah, well, it was very, making the deal, it was very quick from my point of view. So it was just basically an offer on the term sheet and one meeting after, and we had an agreement. Yeah. But before that, it took us, I think, some 2 months of getting to know each other. Mm-hmm. And then I think now it goes much faster, but because we were the first investment, and our company is registered in Serbia, so we've really got an investment in Serbian company, registered in Novi Sad. That took a little bit, like, what was it, 4 months or something like that?
Yeah, I would eliminate the bureaucratic administration that really was the down in our ups and downs. We were struggling to make that fit, but thankfully we pulled through and everything at the end came together. The investment process, I would say it's individual to everybody, but for the VC that identifies you as their future company, it's not worthwhile for them to keep you on ice for an extended period of time unless it's a strategy. Always keep in mind. I mean, you need to have some kind of proof that the team that you're with can pull through in difficult times. It's not just a matter of here's your money, have fun, go spend it, go crazy. Yeah, the investor's playing catch up, as I said. So I would say a fair amount of time is pretty much what Marko said. You need several iterations. I would say month, 2, maybe 3, for you to get to know the person. It really depends on how open they are. I mean, if somebody's going to offer me an NDA, I'll walk away. No, I'm kidding.
They're very fast in saying no. So
yeah, but maybe that's the best thing. It's don't take our word for it. You got to go out. You got to talk to people. We are one of the VCs out there in the world, and it's about that team investor fit. Maybe we're not the best investor for you guys. Doesn't matter, keep following your dream. But I would say, 2-3 months, maybe less, to get to term sheet, and then once you get to term sheet, it kind of goes swimmingly. Answer the question? Yeah? Welcome. Any other questions? No?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes, Marko, please tell them. How many? What's the number?
I think it was 5 or 6, and we more or less got term sheets from all of them. So the only one that said no but did a follow-up now was YC. So we are the only team from Serbia that was ever until now invited for an interview in YC. So that's why we were going to the Silicon Valley for a 10-minute interview there. But you have to show up in person. So that was the only no at the time, but now we have follow-ups with them. We had, they just had good remarks, and then we had some action points, and that's it. But for the rest of them, so let's say 5 or 6, and we got offers from all of them.
Where's the other questions? Oh, we'll go cascading.
Yeah. So we started as a spin-off in our company, the company that we were employed in. That's why when we saw that this could be a business, we had to made an arrangement that there is a new entity that is investable. So that is, that the investment funds will really, based on the cap table, that they will be able to invest in that company. So. Yes, you're right. So because we are building a relatively, technically difficult thing, so we were not able to close ourselves, and for 3 months and just, make it happen and create a first version. So that's why we were looking for an investment fund that can, understand that and follow us in that. So that's where the South Central Ventures fitted in as well. And yes, we need to make revenues. And there are goals. So we have a runway of exactly, as you said, a little bit more than a year of the runway with this investment. And during that period, we need to start to make revenues, and then to create a formula that works. And that will be an enabler for us if there is a need, and there will most probably will be a need because of the kind of a product that we are building, to have a follow-on investment. Yeah. Well, we are all agile. Now, we in our team, our team is built like that we don't use formal methodologies, so we don't have like Scrum Masters and tasks and stories and stuff like that, because it's a small team and very experienced team, but we don't have that formally, but informally we have all those things. So that's the beauty of having the team that is experienced and worked together for quite a while.
It doubled.
Sorry, I didn't. No. I'm just saying that we are implementing agile techniques, but we are not implementing formally any methodology like Scrum or Kanban. But the theme is very agile. You saw how we developed the company in an agile way. So really, we didn't, it was not a V model like, hey, let's create a company that will earn some money, and then, we start putting together requirements. But, what I wanted to show with this iterations slide is that it was really an agile approach where we, said, okay, this is our sprint 0, if you want to talk in Scrum dictionary, and then let's figure out if we have something as, and then, from iteration to iteration, it started to be clearer to us, what it is that we are building, and then also what is the business model that we are going to implement. Because, for example, we had a couple of business models in mind that failed, and that was just an iteration for us. So yeah, we are a very agile team, but we don't have a formal Scrum board, Scrum Master, and stuff like that.
Any other questions, I guess? That answer?
About? Okay.
Yeah. We were a bit secretive, huh? Weren't we?
Yeah, well, the intention of the talk was about startup and investment. So yeah, okay. I think that, Marco, you would not mind. Okay, cool. So the product is actually a tooling for developers that allows you to define your application backend and frontend in a very structural and short way. We have isolated all the things when you're building a cloud application, everything that you build except the business logic on a backend and the user experience on the front end. So everything else you can really specify in this DSL of ours, so the domain-specific language, and then we use that specification, we process it. Basically, we are creating a compiler, but not for the general purpose language, but for our DSL. So we are compiling that input, we are doing a lot of post-processing, so implementing a lot of good practices in development, do a lot of stuff for you as a developer automatically, and then we deliver a project setup, a lot of code, a build environment, deployment environment.
You lost me.
Yes, and yeah, some more tiny things. And we are not technology specific, so we have the input is the specification in our DSL, and the output is based on templates. So we are supporting a couple of technology stacks at the moment, but generally what we are in future going to do is develop different templates with different clients. So at the moment we have support for Java and Scala on backend, for Angular, JS, and Android native, and hopefully with customers we will develop support for .NET and similar Java stacks.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Dame i gospodo, to su bili za vas Vuk Đukić i Marko Gaćeša. Još jedan veliki aplauz.